So the Maasai will not slaughter the cattle for food. So from the agriculture tribes such as the Kikuyu of Kenya, they obtain a small amount of millets, banana, groundnut, and vegetables. Because the number of cattle is more important to a Maasai than their quality, that's why this area is not being used profitably. The Maasai will not willingly sell their cattle, so the large area of the land will, which they occupy in East Africa is not used profitably. Great efforts are being made to get the Maasai to care for their animal properly and raise them for the sale, keeping only as many animals as the pasture can support. Many Maasai are responding to modern technique, but the majority uh, stubbornly continue in their old ways. Among the most of the other African tribes, the pastoralism exists side by side with agricultures. So these Maasai are pastoralists, whereas the Hausa in Nigeria, they are settled cultivators. The Hausa are a tribe of settled cultivators who inhabit the savanna land of Bauchi Plateau of northern Nigeria. They number almost 6 million and have been organized in a settled agriculture community for hundreds of years. They are more advanced in their they are more advanced in their civilization and ways of life than many of other African Negroes. Hausa live in town or village. The ancient Hausa city of Kano, with the population of 1,35,000, has long been a focus of fruits and trade. They do not practice shifting cultivation as many tribes do. Instead, they clear a piece of land and use it for several years, growing a wide range of crops like maize, millet, guinea corn, groundnut, bananas, and beans. Some Hausa also cultivate non-food crop, example cotton and tobacco. When the fertility of the plot declines, they plant a new field uh, and allow the old one to lie fallow. This enables natural forces to act on it until fertility is restored. New crops are then sown in the old plot again and the harvest are good. We already discussed that in equatorial areas, because of the heavy precipitation in equatorial areas, the soil loses its nutrients immediately because these all the nutrients are leached down. But savanna area does not have as heavy precipitation as this equatorial area. That's why this soil in this kind of soil, the settled agriculture can be practiced in this kind of climate because the soil does not lose its fertility easily. When after some period of time, after having taken many crops in a one field, if the fertility of this plot declines, then they allow this to remain fallow, and that's how this plot can again regain its fertility. So they rotate their crops between different fields at a different part of the year, which is a technique employed in advanced agriculture society. Like in India, also we follow the crop rotation. So that's how they practice this agriculture. Beside cultivation, Hausa also make use of domesticated animals. A herd of cattle and goats are kept both for milk and meat, but they are only subsidiary to crop cultivation, though they do not contribute much to the income of Hausa because of their small number. Their manure is used to fertilize the field. Poultry are raised by villagers, and both eggs and chickens are consumed. The farming year is very closely related to the season of rainfall. In Nigeria, the rainy season begins in May and lasts till September. This annual precipitation is about 40 inches, falling entirely in the summer. So this is what The Hausa sow the seeds in the late April. When the sufficient rain has fallen, the seedling sprout with a heavy rain and grow rapidly throughout the rainy season. Weeding with traditional hose is done at a regular intervals till the crop are ripened and harvested in September. The beginning of the cool dry season, the tall brown bushes are burned down by the farmers uh, in preparation for new field for the following year. Sometimes fires may be caused by dry dusty wind that is known as harmattan. We have already talked about this wind problem and prospect and development of savanna. There is a little doubt that in the years to come, what population pressure and need for greater food production will necessitate greater economic development of the savanna because the desert or the freezing tundra form the climatic barrier too formidable for large scale human intervention to take place. But the savanna land with an annual rainfall of over 30 inches and without any severe cold should be able to support a wide range of tropical crops. Pioneer settlements in Central America, Northern Australia, and Eastern Brazil have shown that savanna have immense agricultural potential for the plantation agriculture of cotton, sugarcane, coffee, oil palm, groundnut, and even tropical fruits. Tropical Queensland, despite its scarcity of labor force, has been very successful in its attempt to develop its huge empty land. Nearly independent states of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Malawi have already taken to a large scale production of cotton and sisal hemp. Both crops thrive Both crops thrive well in savanna conditions in West Africa. The commercial cultivation of groundnut, oil palm, and cocoa have been gradually extended into savanna land. New drought-resistant variety will have to be introduced into these newly emergent countries to increase their foreign earnings in such tropical raw materials. In the cooler highland, the temperate crops has been successfully raised. But farming in savanna land is not without natural hazard. Drought may be long and trying as rainfall is often unreliable unless countermeasures can be taken in the form of adequate provision for irrigation, improved crop variety, and scientific farming techniques suitable for the tropical grassland. Crop failure can be disaster for the people who have very little to fall back on. The Sudan climate, with a distinct wet and dry period, is also responsible for rapid deterioration of soil fertility. During the rainy season, torrential downpours of heavy rain cause leaching. Whenever the precipitation is some amount of leaching also takes place, but it is not as heavy as that of in the equatorial areas. The plant nutrients such as nitrate, phosphate, and potash are dissolved and washed away. During the dry season, intense heating and evaporation dry up the most of the water. Many savanna areas therefore have a poor lateritic soil, which are incapable of supporting good crops. Unless the soil is properly conserved through regular manuring, weeding, and careful maintenance, the crop yield are bound to decline. The savanna is said to be natural cattle country and many of the native people are in fact herdmen or pastoralists. Cattle are kept in large number and fed on the tall grass and bushes. They provide the people with milk, blood and meat. Unfortunately, the native Jebu cattle are bony and yield little meat or milk. They often fall victim to tropical disease like nagna or sleeping sickness carried by the tsetse fly in Africa. The export of either beef or milk from the tropical grassland is so far not important. It seems necessary to introduce temperate capitals such as English Short Horn, Friesian, or Jersey to cross with the tropical Jivu if the cattle rearing is to be successful in summer. In fact, the start has already been made in the tropical Queensland, which has become Australia's largest cattle producing state. Both meat and milk are exported in other regions such as Campos and Llanos of the South America. Though cattle ranching has been carried out for centuries, little progress has been made so far. The quality of grass needs to be improved and the better network of communication is essential. Above all, the cattle breeding and disease control must be carried out on a scientific basis. If Africa's savanna, the uh, altitude of such native herdsmen as the Maasai who treat cattle as a precious animal not for slaughtering will pose many difficulties towards the commercialization of the cattle industry. But as an agriculture region, the savanna holds a great promise for future. So that is what the savanna climatic regions are.